Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how I do my foundation. It's very important when you're doing your makeup to make sure you have a good foundation and you have a good base because that's going to set the day for how your makeup wears, how it looks, how it wears throughout the day. So I used to just like throw concealer on and foundation and go. But since I've been getting beauty bags and I have been learning more and more about beauty, that and newer products that have been out there, because I kind of got out of the game for a while and I wasn't wearing makeup and for several years. So getting back into the game, there's been so many products added. There's face primers now where they used to not be. There is, all different kinds of correcting concealers where there never used to be. There's eye primers, there's setting sprays. There's all kinds of stuff out there now. So I'm kind of relearning a lot of things. So this is what I come up with so far. So I thought I'd get on here and show you guys step by step what I do for my foundation and my base. I'm not going to do any eye look or blush or anything like that. I'm going to do a little bit of bronzer, but I thought that might get a little bit too long. So I'll do that. I'll maybe do a get ready with me or a tutorial on an eye look maybe tomorrow. I've got plenty of time. I've been off work for surgery. So the first thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use a face primer. And the one I'm using today is Too Faced. It is called Hangover. It's supposed to be a replenishing face primer. My skin's been very dry. And this one I had used several times. And it tends to add some hydration to my skin. So I decided I'm going to try this one today. I've been using the Too Faced Peach one that I just got sent in my, was it my Ipsy? I think it was my Ipsy. And I really do like that one because it like really is a great, it just covers, it's really nice, and it doesn't make my skin too greasy. So this was kind of make my skin a little bit greasier, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago before my skin like turned instantly dry. So I thought, well, since it's been dry, I'm going to try it again today. So I just take a little bit like this and I just kind of dot it. And I just apply it basically wherever I put foundation. I kind of pat it in there. Because I want a little bit of smoothing effect because my texture is not the greatest right now. And that smells really good. I've only tried a few. I've tried primers, face primers. I've tried 2 of the Too Faced, which I seem to really like. And the Tarte. There's a Tarte one that I got sent too. I've not purchased any, but so I've just been using these samples that I've gotten from my boxes. And hopefully I'll keep getting samples so I don't have to go purchase any. Because I'm a cheapo. As you guys know it. And what this does is kind of help smooth your face out, and it gives a good base. It helps give your foundation something to kind of latch onto so that it'll last longer. And I really liked using these. Okay, so got my face primer on. So the next thing I'm going to do, I have been doing a lot of color correcting. I've been using color correctors lately because I've been having such dark circles under my eyes. As you can see, they look very dark, and it gives the appearance of bags. And I also noticed I'm getting some redness on my cheeks right there. So I got this correcting concealer palette from my free box. No. This was Yes Oh Yes. Yes Oh Yes this month by Pierre and Cosmetics. And I've actually I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking it. So it has these 3 colors in it. Okay. So this one is for like darkness. Okay. Green is for redness. And then the purple one is for like sallowness. Like yellowish. So I don't really have a yellowish issue, but I do have some dark circle issues. So I've just been putting it under here. And I put mine on kind of heavy to get rid of those bags. in those dark circles. And I'm doing this in just my viewfinder here. So I don't know what it's going to look like. I guess I do have a little bit of me here. Yeah, I do mine pretty heavy. And I know it's pretty orangey in color, but I've not had issue with that bleeding through once I get my concealer and I get my foundation on. And it doesn't look like it does a whole lot like at first, but once I get everything else on, it really does make a big, big difference in my eyes. And I even come down here a little bit because I tend to have not so much darkness there, but I have some like that. It just kind of carries through. My darkness kind of comes down to there a little bit. And I do right in there too because I have some darkness there that I don't like. Okay, so I've got that on. Now I'm going to use some of the green on my cheeks because I have been absolutely having a lot of redness. Oh, I'm dipping into the wrong one here. I did remember makeup wipes today. Okay. My little Violet's over here grabbing me. Okay, so there we go. I'm really liking these color correctors, and I had never really used them before, but I'll tell you what, they do make a difference. What is it if you're on the color wheel? I'm trying to explain how it works. If it's on the color wheel, the opposite color directly across from one color will cancel each other out. So like for redness, across from the color wheel, green is there, and so the green will cancel out redness, and vice versa. So that's kind of cool. That's a little example of how it works. Okay, so next thing I always do is I contour. So I have a contouring stick, and I use the Wet n Wild Megaglo dual-ended contour stick. I'm not sure it's like the best one that I've ever had, but it's kind of easy to use. It's got contouring on one side, and it's got highlighting on the other side. I don't really use the highlighting. I used to use the highlighting as a concealer, and it really wasn't working. And then I got to looking at that. Oh, it's not a concealer, it's a highlighter. No wonder it's not working. I do use a little bit of it. So I always highlight right here. Or I mean contour right there. Okay. And I go underneath my chin or my jawbone right there. And what that's going to do, it's going to make this look thinner. It's going to recess it back and make look a lot thinner. So I always do that, and then I go in and I just blend it in. And I don't use beauty blenders. I don't use brushes. I do old school with my fingers. I just get that nice blend in so I don't have a harsh line or anything. Okay. Then, after I do that, I take the highlighting in And then to make this look out, come out a little bit more, my jawbone, I use the highlighter on that. And I just kind of blend it in a little bit. This is very creamy, so it blends really, really nice. And I like to do this before I put my foundation on, because then once I put my foundation on, it all kind of just blends really nice together. Okay. Now, my chin, I don't like my chin very well. It just feels like it's always kind of, I don't know, kind of big. So I want to kind of recess that back. So I'm going to use a little bit of this contour, the darker color, to go over that a little bit, just to kind of recess that down a little bit. Okay, and there we go. So that's basically all I do for contouring and highlighting before I put my foundation on. So what is it, little Violet? What is it? What? What do you want? Hmm? Okay. So the next thing I do, what do you want? What do you want? I've been home and she's been driving me nuts. She wants my constant attention all the time. And normally when I'm home, I try to give her as much attention as I can. She's kind of got used to that. So now that I've been home all the time, she wants my constant attention and she's driving me nuts. I need to go back to work. Okay, the next thing I'm going to use is my concealer. And I have been using the Maybelline Super Stay in color 120. And I really have been liking this. The only thing is if you have dry skin, you definitely want to make sure you moisturize it really good before you put it on, because it tends to make your face look, I mean, it is very matte. It is, I mean, I'll say that straight up. It's very matte. And when I purchased it, I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to try this or not because my skin had turned dry at that point. But I did, and I do like it. I really do like it. So I just pump a little bit out, like 1-2 squirts right there. And that normally, I think I can get my whole face done with that. And then I just dot it around. And then once again, I just use my fingers. I don't use a beauty blender. I probably should try to learn how to use one, and a brush. I've tried a brush, but I don't have the correct brush right now. And then I kind of go up in here to cover up that conceal that I was using. I used the corrector. And this gives me a nice coverage. This is what I like about it. It's full coverage. It gives me a nice coverage. And I always just make sure I blend it really nice. Because it's gonna dry matte, you know. So before it dries in matte real good, I really go over it really nice. And I know a lot of people do their eyes first, but I have never liked doing that. I like getting my foundation on first and then going back in and doing my eyes. It just feels like I get it in there a little bit better. I like to have my base on before I start putting the icing on, so to speak. Okay. Can you tell the difference from this side to this side? Boy, I can. It just glides on. I think it looks really, really nice. And my under eyes look a lot better, but I'm not quite finished with those yet. So okay, let's get on the other side now. I just kind of wanted you guys to see how that really covers the skin nice. But it doesn't look cakey. And it doesn't look fake. I don't think it looks fake. I think it still looks pretty nice. I mean, as far as um, your skin. I just absolutely love this one. And I've been wanting to try some other ones as well. I want to try some more like, not mattes. I want to try some radiance or glow type ones. Or I really want to try the L'Oreal Pro Natural that just came out. But I have not seen it in the stores around where I live at this point. I may have to break down. I think they've got it at Ulta. I may have to break down and go get it at Ulta to try that out. I also want to try out the Physicians Formula. I heard that's really, really nice foundation as well. I normally do drugstore because I just really can't afford to do the higher end. Or even if I could, I think they're so outrageous in the pricing. So I like to do economical. But I still want a nice look, you know, even though I'm doing more drugstore. Okay, and then I normally have just a little bit, so I go on my neck with it. Just to kind of blend in. Everything. And then I take a little bit and go underneath my eye. And this is just things I do, you know, that I think I have found that works for me. This is not something, you know, everybody has to do or needs to do. It's just things that I have had problems with that, you know, I've had to kind of figure out how to get a nice look as my skin has changed over the years. When I was younger, I could just throw it on and go, but now I'm older and there's just some problem. You know, I've got issues with dark circles under my eyes, and I got issues with fine lines and skin type changing, that kind of stuff. So, and if I have any extra, I kind of go over this a little bit. Violet, just wait a minute, chill out. Yeah, and I take my time really to get it blended well. I like to make sure it's blended really, really nice. And there we go. Okay, I'm cleaning my hands off because I got lots of foundation, and I'll tell you what, this stuff is kind of difficult to get off your fingers. I use soap and water and try to get it off, and it doesn't get off very well. So it stays. I mean, it stays. It lasts quite a while. I've worn it for like 8, 10 hours, and I go and look in the mirror and think, wow, it still looks really fresh and good. And I've not had issues with it at all. I've heard good and bad things about it, and I guess it comes down to your skin type. I've heard people with dry skin say it's too drying for them. I've heard people with normal to dry skin say it was just fine. I've heard people with oily skin says it's too oily for them. So I'm really not sure. I think you just have to try it and see if it's something that'll work for you. But I really like this. I really am liking it. The only thing, it does seem to show up some of my fine lines a little bit more. So I've just been trying to add extra moisture to my skin, and I've been addressing those with face mask and lotions and potions, so to speak, serums and moisturizing, keep my skin very moisturized. I even switched my cleanser. I actually switched back to using Noxzema because it's not been drying my skin out, and it's actually giving my skin a very nice, healthy glow. More so than some of the other cleansers that I've been using because they were just starting to get too dry. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to conceal. So I'm using the Covergirl. Let's see. It's in Nuetral. It's Covergirl. I don't know what kind it is. I think it's just a regular. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna put this on here, and I put quite a bit of this on actually, because there's still some darkness under my eye. And right there, the line comes down right there, and it kind of makes me look tired. And then I just take my finger again, and I go in there, and I kind of blend it in there. And then I go in and I conceal. I'm gonna have to get a mirror here because my light's kind of glaring on me here. I got a little bit of acne going on there, and I got some bumps over here. I'm trying to minimize. That looks really bad right there. Just a minute, honey. I'm almost done. We're almost done. Yeah, I still got some bumps there. Trying to hang. I think I see. It's kind of covered. I see. Still got a little darkness right there. I can't get all the darkness out of there with just the corrector and just with concealer, but then or foundation. But once I put powder on there, it really does help a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. I don't like getting too much on there and caking it up. Okay, but you still see there's a little bit of darkness, and I've been struggling with this. Oh my gosh, it's so aggravating. I tried a couple different types of correctors for under the eye, for darkness, and some kind of work, some has been okay. Then I got this, so I thought, well, I'll be trying this for a little while. This seems to really do a pretty good job. Okay, then something new I've been doing that I've not ever really done is I've been baking my eyes. I never even heard of what baking was. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me. Okay, and this isn't fair, and I think I really need to get a little bit darker shade for me because I think this one is just a little bit too light. And I don't do tons. I just do a light one. I try to do a lighter one under my eyes because I get too white. And I don't like to do a lot because then I kind of feel like it makes my eyes look a little older. Like it kind of dries them out a little bit. But I do like this Maybelline Fit Me. It's very comparable to Laura Mercier's powder. I had gotten a sample of that in one of my boxes, and I really do like that. It's very nicely finely milled. It's very nice. I don't always bake either. Sometimes I just go over it with pressed powder. So I do both. I do loose powder and I do pressed powder. I've always been like a pressed powder kind of person, and I've always kind of liked the look of it a little bit better than the loose powder. But loose powders used to be not very, very good back in my day, and now they've gotten a lot better, a lot better. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to do with that. So while that's baking a little bit, I'm going to take my CoverGirl Clean Matte pressed powder, and I'm using this in color 535 medium light. And I just use this. I don't use brushes for my face. I don't have a lot of brushes, so I just don't have them, so I just don't use them. So I just go back on and I just kind of press it. And I like to do this to kind of, it kind of just sets my makeup for the day. And I like the look it gives me. And it adds a little bit of color to me. Violet, just a minute. I'm almost done. Okay, do you want up here? Do you want to come up here? Okay, give me a minute. Let me get Violet up here. Come on. Come up here. Come on. Come on. There you go. Are you happy now? Okay. You sit down there. There you go. And I use a lot of pressed powder. I always just have. It gives me a really nice, I like the look it gives me. You see, I just kind of pat it on all over. Okay, it's probably not baked that long, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. And I'm just going to take this. I kind of just kind of blend it in and brush it off a little bit. This one's pretty light on me. I really probably need to go to a darker shade once I'm going to finish this one up first, though. And I think I'll go down to the next shade down. Okay, so I've got that kind of blended off. Then I'm going to take my pressed powder again, and I go back over that, and that helps darken it back up for me. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on some bronzer here. Oh, I didn't bring my bronzer brush out here. I know I forgot something here. I'm going to go over there a little bit. This kind of blended. This kind of looked like it wasn't quite blended well. It's kind of look a little chalky. I don't want it to look chalky. I want it to look a little bit more blended. Okay. Oh, so what am I going to use? I guess I'll use this little powder brush thing I've been using. Normally I use an angled blush brush. And just put a little bit of that in there, and then I kind of and then I'm going to take a little bit, and I'm going to put it on my here. And I always put some on my nose and here, around my mouth. Just to deepen up my skin a little bit. Okay, and then my next step is I put my eye primer on. And then I go ahead and I do my eyes. And I'm using the e.l.f. Eye primer. This is the only eye primer I've ever used, other than I've used concealer a couple times. Check that out. But this really does help with getting your shadows to stick nice and blend nice. So I always like to use a nice primer. And I just kind of pat it on. You can even go right there. It looks like it might be a little orangey right there with that concealer. Let me look here. I guess it looks more orangey on camera than what it actually is. Doesn't look orangey to me out here. Okay, so I'm not gonna really, but on camera it does look really, really orangey. So let me maybe do some priming in there. Maybe I can get some of that orangey color in there. I should have put some more concealer up in there and I didn't think about it. And my lighting is not the best for this type of video. Okay, and there I am. I'm ready to, primer right there. Yeah, it's on now. Okay, so I'm ready to put the rest of my makeup on, which is the eyes and all that stuff, which I'm not going to do on this video because it's already been 30 minutes. I just wanted to show you guys how I do my base and get it ready to start putting all the fun stuff on. The eyeshadows and the mascaras and eyeliners and blushes and lipsticks and all that kind of stuff. So, that's it. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll list below all the products that I've used, and you know, if there's something that you might like, you want to go try, that way you can. What is it? What is it? My sweetie. She cracks me up. Anyway, so let me know if you guys like this video. I'm probably not going to do another tutorial on my foundation. If I do some get ready with me's, I'll probably have all my foundation and stuff done prior and then just show you different looks with eyes and cheeks and stuff. Unless you guys want to see, you know, more tutorials on the whole look, the whole thing, let me know. I do want to try out some new foundations. And I still feel like I look a little white right there, but I'll fix that in a minute. My lighting is just not good. It's like coming straight down. See my back. Oh, there it goes. That looks a little bit better. So, yeah, maybe I'm just too close. Anyway, so you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.